Morning sunlight streams through my kitchen windows, casting long rectangles across the hardwood floor, where half-unpacked moving boxes still wait. I grip a coffee mug in one hand and sort through my mail with the other, trying to maintain some semblance of normal routine in my new home. The certified letter sits apart from the stack of junk mail and bills, its official markings making my stomach clench. When I tear open the envelope, the world stops turning. Edward and Marlene Lorne versus Arden Lorne. My coffee mug slips from numb fingers, shattering against the floor. Dark liquid seeps into the grout between tiles as my hands begin to tremble, the legal papers wavering before my eyes. The demand jumps out in stark black text: immediate transfer of property and $300,000 in damages. My own parents are suing me. 2 weeks earlier, I had stood in the same kitchen signing closing papers on my $412,000 home, the first major purchase of my life. The real estate agent had beamed as she handed me the keys. "You did this completely on your own," she'd said. "That's something to be proud of." That night I'd celebrated alone with takeout Chinese and a bottle of champagne I'd been saving since my promotion last year. I wandered through empty rooms, mentally placing furniture I'd carefully budgeted for, mapping out each space that was finally, irrevocably mine. "Look at this, Grandpa," I'd said later during our video call, panning my phone around the living room. "I did it." His eyes had welled up with pride. "You sure did, sweetheart. You sure did." The first sign that something was wrong came immediately after I announced the purchase. My parents' faces on FaceTime were tight, uncomfortable. My sister Sabrina hovered in their living room behind them, designer purse dangling from her arm. "How many bedrooms?" Mom had asked, her smile brittle. "3," I'd answered, "and a nice yard." "That's quite a purchase for someone your age," Dad said, his jaw working. Sabrina leaned into frame, her perfectly styled hair falling forward. "Must be nice to have that kind of money to throw around." Mom's eyes darted to her. "You know your sister's been having a rough time, Arden." I should have recognized the warning signs then, but nothing could have prepared me for their ambush a week later. "We need to discuss a family matter," Dad said, his face filling my phone screen, his business tone, the one he used for difficult conversations with employees. Mom dabbed at her eyes with a tissue. "We've always put family first, haven't we? Always supported each other?" "Your sister needs stability more than you do," Dad continued. "She has plans for that house, creative plans. You can keep renting." I stared at them, uncomprehending. "This is my house. I worked for it. Sabrina can earn her own." "Don't be selfish," Mom snapped. "Family helps family." The certified letter arrived the next day. As I read through the documents now, my throat closes up. Aunt Ramona's name appears as financial backer of the lawsuit. An email from Sabrina is attached as evidence claiming I stole her opportunity. The demands are spelled out in clinical legal language. Transfer of property deed to Sabrina Lorne. Continued mortgage payments for 18 months. Minus $300,000 for child-rearing costs. Written apology for damaging family trust. My hands shake as I dial my grandfather's number. He answers on the first ring. "They've gone too far this time," he says after I explain, his voice hard with anger. I spend the next hour researching attorneys, my heart sinking at retainer fees starting at $10,000. Money I don't have after the down payment and closing costs. The reality settles over me like a heavy blanket. I'll have to defend myself. That night I sit alone in my new home, surrounded by boxes I haven't had the energy to unpack. Tears threaten but don't fall. In their place, something stronger takes root: determination. They want my house? The one I spent 15 years saving for while they bankrolled Sabrina's failed ventures? The home I earned through countless overtime shifts and careful budgeting? Let them try. I stand up and walk to my bedroom window, looking out at the quiet street below. This is my home, my achievement, my line in the sand. They made their choice to attack what I've built. Now I'll make mine to defend it. Have you ever had family members try to claim what you've worked hard for? Share your experience in the comments. I spread financial documents across my dining room table, the morning sun casting shadows between stacks of bank statements and tax returns. My laptop screen glows with an open spreadsheet. 15 years of financial life reduced to columns and formulas. The numbers tell a story my family doesn't want told. Memory flashback at age 16. $5.25. Hour at Morningstar Coffee. Tips split between 3 baristas. I can still smell the burnt espresso, feel the ache in my feet after 8-hour shifts. You're missing Sabrina's Sweet 16, Mom had texted that night. The DJ cost a fortune. I'd watched the party unfold on social media between customers, my sister in a custom pink dress, surrounded by floating lanterns and a chocolate fountain. Cost, roughly 3 months of my wages. My fingers traced down a column of community college receipts. Night classes after work, textbooks bought used, careful budgeting of every meal. Dad's voice echoes from that period. An accounting certificate? It's not even a real degree. The memory of my 18th birthday surfaces not the celebration but the argument that followed. What do you mean you won't fill out the FAFSA? I'd asked, clutching university application papers. You're an adult now, Dad had said. Time to stand on your own feet. A week later, I'd found an apartment listing. $400. Month. Roaches included. The start of real independence. At the present, my phone buzzes. Mom's number. I let it go to voicemail, already knowing the script. Sweetheart. Her message quavers. We've always given you both exactly what you needed. Why are you being so difficult about this? I pull up my email, finding Dad's response to my emergency root canal 4 years ago. Figure it out. Below it, bank statements showing $2. $0 transferred to Sabrina that same week for creative supplies. My sister's Instagram feed tells its own story. Semesters abroad in Paris and Rome, funded by our parents. Art supplies that cost more than my monthly rent. Meanwhile, my student loan statements march endlessly onward, minus $47,000 in debt, every payment made alone. Don't make this harder than it needs to be, Dad's latest email warns. I delete it without responding. A new voicemail notification pops up. Aunt Ramona this time. You selfish girl, she spits. After everything this family's done for you. I research her history online, finding foreclosure records from 5 years ago, the same year she started living in Mom and Dad's guest house. The pieces click. She's not just backing their lawsuit, she's looking for her own backup plan. A quick social media search reveals Sabrina's latest crisis. Eviction notice from her creative studio apartment 3 weeks ago. The timing aligns perfectly with their lawsuit. The doorbell rings, startling me. Grandpa stands on my porch, carrying a weathered cardboard box. Thought you might need these, he says, setting it down. Inside, decades of family financial records, meticulously organized. They did the same thing to your cousin Thomas, he explains, settling into a kitchen chair. When his auto shop started turning a profit, they tried claiming he owed them for family investments. My phone lights up with a text from Thomas himself 10 minutes later. Heard about the lawsuit. They tried taking my shop when it finally got out of the red. Don't let them win. A knock at the door an hour later reveals my next-door neighbor holding a potted plant. Welcome to the neighborhood, she says warmly, despite surely having heard about the family drama. My high school boss from Morningstar Coffee emails. Remember that Employee of the Year award? Happy to be a character reference. The support strengthens me for the next wave in the days to follow. A certified letter threatening property liens, Sabrina's tearful Facebook posts about her heartless sister, and calls from my parents' country club friends about family duty. Aunt Ramona's silver Mercedes cruises past my house for the 3rd time today, her phone raised to take pictures. An hour later, my supervisor calls about an anonymous concern regarding my character. I spend my lunch break filing a motion to dismiss, using every scrap of legal knowledge gleaned from late-night research. The court clerk raises her eyebrows at my pro se filing next week. This is surprisingly thorough, she says, stamping the documents. The preliminary hearing is set for next month. I request unpaid leave from work, ignoring my boss's worried frown about personal distractions affecting performance. That evening, I sit on my new porch swing, watching the sun paint the sky in shades of orange and pink. The scene triggers a memory. Teenage me walking this same street, admiring these houses, promising myself I'd earn one someday. You're dreaming too big, Mom had said when I'd mentioned it. Maybe I was, but I did it anyway. A young family walks past, children laughing as they chase fireflies. I think about the locksmith coming tomorrow, the security system being installed next week. Not just protecting my house, but fortifying my boundaries. They say blood is thicker than water. but I'm learning that some family ties are actually chains. Sometimes love means standing firm, even when it hurts. Sometimes independence comes at a price worth paying. I gather my documents and head inside, leaving the porch light on, not for family but for the new connections I'm building, one kindness at a time. Next week, the church bulletin lies crumpled on my kitchen counter, my parents' congregation's letterhead stark against today's mail. 3 more prayer requests, expressing concern for my wayward path and hardened heart toward family. I add them to the growing pile. My phone buzzes with another social media notification. Sabrina's latest Instagram story features her tearfully holding our childhood photo album. Family means supporting each other no matter what. Broken heart family first. The timestamp shows 3 a.m., prime posting hours for maximum sympathy engagement. I pull up my financial tracking spreadsheet, the one I've maintained since that first dishwashing job at May's Diner. 15 years old, scrubbing plates until midnight while my classmates planned homecoming outfits. The memory of pruned fingers and aching feet feels fresh, along with May's gentle reminder, "You're building something, girl. Keep those records clean." Each cell tells a story. $6.25, hour times 30 hours weekly, minus bus fare. Community college tuition payments scheduled around 3 part-time jobs. The studio apartment with the leaking ceiling and the second-hand futon I'd proudly purchased for $40. "You really live like this?" Mom had asked during her only visit, eyes sweeping over my carefully arranged thrift store furniture. The spreadsheet continues. Monthly savings transfers, starting at $200, growing to $300 as my certifications brought better opportunities. Years of careful planning, every extra penny funneled toward my dream of homeownership. A knock at the door interrupts my review. Through the security camera feed, a new installation courtesy of Grandpa, I spot Mrs. Henderson from 2 doors down. "Thought you might need lunch," she says, holding up a paper bag. "And Gary's taking the 3-6 p.m. watch shift today." The neighbors have organized an informal surveillance rotation since Aunt Ramona's Mercedes became a regular fixture on our street. Their quiet support feels like a shield in the days to follow. One Tuesday afternoon, breaking news, notification, Sabrina's interview with the local paper. Sister disputes family legacy. The article features her posed artistically in her former studio apartment, surrounded by half-finished canvases. My phone rings, Thomas. "Saw the article," he says without preamble. "Got those account records you asked about? The family investment they claimed I owed? Funny how the numbers matched Aunt Ramona's foreclosure exactly." The Whole Foods automatic doors slide open, and I freeze. Sabrina stands by the organic produce, designer sunglasses perched on her head. Too late to retreat, she's spotted me. "Well, if it isn't the family trader," she announces loudly enough for nearby shoppers to turn. I focus on selecting tomatoes, keeping my voice steady. "Hello, Sabrina. You always thought you were better than us," she hisses, stepping closer. "With your precious spreadsheets and your boring job, you know what that house could be? An amazing art cafe concept. People would love it." I meet her eyes. "And how would you handle the mortgage? Property taxes?" She waves dismissively. "Obviously that part would still be your responsibility, since you're so good with money." Her lip curls. "Unlike some of us who actually pursued our passions." "Ma'am?" The store manager appears. "Is everything all right?" Sabrina's voice rises dramatically. "My own sister, abandoning her family." I leave my cart, walking calmly toward the exit as Sabrina's performance echoes behind me. The manager catches my eye with a knowing look. We all know what's really happening here. Back home, I spread out the documents Grandpa delivered. Parents' financial records showing Sabrina's $90,000 student loans paid in full. A $25,000 business loan for her failed pottery studio. Their mortgage-free property deed. And buried in old emails, the truth. "Time to teach Arden a lesson about family obligation," Aunt Ramona wrote, "before she gets too independent." My hands shake as I compile court exhibits. The room spins slightly, too many memories crowding in. I'm 5 years old again, watching Mom remove my crayon drawing from the refrigerator. Sabrina needs space for her new watercolor. A gentle knock. Grandpa enters without waiting, carrying a weathered photo album. "Found these in the attic," he says, settling into the chair beside me. "Your grandmother kept everything." The photos tell a different story. Me at every minimum wage job, proudly holding first paychecks. A display of perfect attendance certificates. My community college graduation, Grandma beaming beside me. She saw you, Grandpa says softly. She knew what you were building. Those textbooks you thought just showed up at the campus bookstore? That was her. Tears blur my vision as I stand before the bathroom mirror, practicing my court statement. The voice that emerges sounds stronger than I feel. I am not responsible for supporting adult family members who refuse to support themselves. I straighten my blazer, purchased on sale last year, recorded meticulously in my budget. The security cameras blink steadily. Evidence binders stand ready, each document telling its own truth. Aunt Ramona's Mercedes cruises past again, but I don't flinch. Some sacrifices strengthen us even as they break our hearts. Sometimes the hardest boundaries are the ones we need most. I touch the small photo of Grandma I'll carry tomorrow, her eyes twinkling with the pride she never spoke aloud. She understood the price of independence. Now it's my turn to prove I was worth her investment. Tomorrow, I'll tell my truth. Tonight, I fortify my walls, not with brick and mortar, but with 15 years of carefully documented sacrifice and the quiet strength of those who believe in earning their own way. On the confrontation day, the courthouse steps gleam in the morning sun as I adjust my grip on the leather document case, a graduation gift from Grandma, now carrying the weight of 15 years' receipts and records. Each step feels deliberate, grounding. The glass doors reflect my image. Navy blazer, pressed slacks, minimal jewelry, professional, prepared. A far cry from my first courthouse visit at 16, seeking work papers with trembling hands. Oh, perfect timing! Sabrina's voice rings across the marble lobby. My family forms a coordinated tableau, matching white, blood-first, t-shirts under sport coats and cardigans. Mom dabs at carefully smudged mascara while Dad's attorney arranges papers with theatrical precision. Aunt Ramona catches my eye, lips curving into a familiar smirk. Last chance to avoid embarrassing the family, dear. I keep walking, heels clicking steadily against marble. The security guard nods as I pass through the metal detector, my heart beats steady despite the weight of their stares. The courtroom feels smaller than expected. Wood panels absorb sound, creating a bubble of focused silence. I arrange my exhibits with practiced efficiency, each tab color-coded and annotated. The methodology that earned eye rolls at family dinners now serves as armor. All rise. Judge Martinez enters, her quick assessment taking in both sides. Her gaze lingers on the matching shirts before settling on the stack of motions. Interesting filing, she comments, scanning the first page. Please proceed. Dad's attorney rises, straightening his tie. Your Honor, this case centers on familial obligation and traditional values. The Lorne family invested approximately $300,000 in raising their daughter, as documented by USDA statistics. Objection. I state clearly. Irrelevant. Standard childcare costs don't create legal debt. Sustained. Judge Martinez's pen taps her notepad. Counsel, proceed with actual claims. Mom takes the stand first, tissue clutched dramatically. We sacrificed everything for our girls. Private lessons, summer camps. Her voice breaks. How can she abandon us now that she's successful? I stay focused on my notes as she describes my selfish career choices, my rejection of family values. Each accusation lands softer than the last, buffered by years of documented truth. Dad testifies next, his authoritative boardroom voice filling the space. In our family, successful children support their parents. It's understood. And when was this agreement made? Judge Martinez interrupts. It's traditional, he stumbles. Implied. Your Honor, I begin my cross-examination. Did you provide similar support for Sabrina's education? Objection? Irrelevant. Their attorney stands. I'll allow it, Judge Martinez says. Answer the question. Dad shifts uncomfortably. Sabrina needed help pursuing her artistic gifts. Please review Exhibit C. I direct. Bank statements showing $90,000 in student loan payments for Sabrina's fine arts degree, plus $25,000 for her pottery studio. Sabrina's testimony comes next, tears flowing on cue. The house would be perfect for my healing art cafe concept. I'd let her keep a room, of course. And the mortgage? Judge Martinez asks. Property taxes? Well, Arden's good with money stuff. Sabrina waves dismissively. She'd handle that part. The judge's eyebrow rises. What's your current employment status? I'm between projects, Sabrina sniffs. My art requires emotional space. I stand for my testimony, spreading out 15 years of pay stubs, rent receipts, college transcripts. I began working at 15, Your Honor. Every job documented, every penny accounted for. Including parental support? The judge asks. None received. I present bank statements. I paid my own way through community college while working 3 jobs. The down payment for my house came from 15 years of careful saving. She's twisting things, Aunt Ramona bursts out. This ungrateful girl. Silence, Judge Martinez warns. She studies my documentation, then addresses my parents directly. Would you be making these demands if both daughters were struggling financially? The silence speaks volumes. I've heard enough. The judge closes her folder. This case lacks any legal merit whatsoever. Properties purchased independently remain independent. Case dismissed with prejudice. Aunt Ramona's outraged screech echoes off marble as security escorts her out. Sabrina collapses in the hallway, but the court personnel step carefully around her prone form, faces neutral. You'll regret choosing money over family, she calls after me. I pause at the courthouse doors, sunlight streaming through glass. Behind me, Mom's voice rises. How could you do this to your family? But the weight pressing against my chest for months finally lifts. Through the window, I spot Grandpa's truck idling at the curb, his steady presence a reminder that family, real family, builds you up instead of tearing you down. You okay, kid? He asks as I climb in. I watch my biological family huddled on the courthouse steps, their matching shirts a bright blur in the rearview mirror. I think I finally am. Your grandmother would be proud, he says softly. She always said you had the strength to build your own path. The familiar streets look different somehow, clearer, like after a storm. Each carefully earned mile bringing me closer to home. My home, protected now by truth and law and the quiet power of standing firm. In my pocket, the small photo of Grandma seems to warm slightly. She'd understood the price of independence, the courage required to choose yourself. Some sacrifices strengthen us, even as they break our hearts. Sometimes the hardest boundaries become our strongest foundations. The security system chimes as I enter my home, my legally protected home now. 3 days since the courtroom victory, and already the quiet feels different. Not peaceful exactly, but fortified. My phone buzzes. Another notification from Sabrina's GoFundMe. My sister stole my future. Help an artist heal. The fabricated story beneath makes my stomach clench. After supporting me through art school, my sister betrayed our family's trust. Now I'm facing homelessness while she hoards wealth in an empty house. Please help me create my healing art cafe. I screenshot it for my attorney, then silence notifications. The lies sting less than the calculated manipulation. She knows exactly how to play the victim. Did you see the email? Thomas's text appears. My cousin, usually silent on family matters, has emerged as an unexpected ally. Uncle Edward and Aunt Marlene really outdid themselves. The mass email to our extended family arrived this morning, detailing my cruel betrayal of family values and selfish materialism, each carefully crafted paragraph designed to isolate me from the wider family network. I saw it, I reply. Seems familiar? They did the same to me when my business took off. Called me ungrateful, demanded family investments. I wish I'd fought back like you did. That night, the security system chirps again. Motion detected. Through the app, I watch Aunt Ramona's Mercedes creep past my house for the 3rd time tonight. At midnight, the camera catches her approaching my front door, spray paint can glinting in the porch light. You ungrateful little. The rest is lost as she realizes she's being recorded. The paint can disappears into her designer bag as she hurries away, but not before leaving a bright red streak across my new door. The responding officer arrives quickly. We've got clear footage, he says, reviewing the video. Would you like to press charges? I think of family dinners, holiday gatherings, the complex web of loyalty and obligation. I need to file for a restraining order. Next week, the courthouse feels different now. Where fear once lived, determination takes root. The clerk processes my paperwork efficiently, eyebrows rising at the family names. Judge Martinez's courtroom again, she notes. She'll remember the context. The temporary order comes through immediately, backed by the officer's testimony and security footage. Each signature feels like both victory and loss. protecting my future while severing my past. They tried this with others. Mrs. Chen, our old neighbor, tells me over coffee. Her letter arrived yesterday, detailing 20 years of observed family dynamics. Your father demanded family support from his brother too before the cancer took him. Your aunt, she's always been jealous of your mother's marriage, you know. Uses money to control people. Grandfather fills in more gaps as we work on his truck together. Your grandmother set aside college money for both you girls, he says quietly. Your parents redirected it. Called it investing in Sabrina's gift. His hands stay steady on the wrench, but his voice carries old anger. That's why she left you the house money separately in her will. The permanent restraining order hearing arrives too quickly and not soon enough. The matching shirts are gone, replaced by subtle designer labels and practiced humility. Their new attorney speaks of reconciliation, portraying me as vindictive and unbalanced. Your Honor, I stand. Evidence organized with familiar precision. I'll let the facts speak. Security footage plays. Police reports detail workplace disruptions, my family claiming medical emergencies to bypass security, the GoFundMe screenshots, the email campaign. Enough, Judge Martinez interrupts. Restraining order granted and expanded to include digital harassment. Any violation will result in immediate consequences. That evening, the local paper runs the story. Family property lawsuit dismissed. Restraining order granted. Sabrina's GoFundMe disappears, reported for fraud. Messages trickle in from extended family. Support. Similar stories, quiet solidarity. Your cousin Rachel called. Grandfather tells me over dinner. Says she's proud of you. Others are starting to speak up about their experiences too. I watch him season his potatoes with methodical care. The same attention to detail he taught me in his garage, rebuilding engines while sharing life wisdom. Does it get easier? I ask. Choosing yourself? He sets down his fork. Sometimes family is what you build, not what you're born into. Your grandmother knew that. Why do you think she left you those tools in her will? Later, I complete my nightly security routine. Doors locked, cameras active, systems armed. The red paint is gone from the door, but its ghost remains, a reminder of boundaries earned and enforced. In my journal, words flow. I protected what I earned, but I'm mourning what never was. The family I wanted existed only in my hopes. The family I have now, the ones who choose truth over comfort, growth over control, they're the foundation for something real. My phone lights up with another text from Thomas. Dinner next week? Rachel and her kids want to meet at that new place downtown. I smile, typing back. Count me in. The security system chimes softly, all secure. Through the window, I watch the sunset paint my garden in gentle golds. Grandmother's roses, transplanted from her yard, bloom stubbornly against the fence. Some things grow stronger when forced to root deeper, finding nourishment in unexpected soil. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, but tonight, in this house I earned and defended, I am anchored in truth. Some victories carry the weight of grief, but they clear the ground for new growth, new connections, new definitions of family. I turn off the lights, leaving one on for the porch, a habit learned from grandmother. Not all traditions need to be broken. Some, like her wisdom and strength, become the foundation for building something better. The morning sun streams through my kitchen windows, catching dust motes as I measure coffee grounds, 2 scoops per cup, the way grandfather taught me. Ayer since the restraining order, and my weekends have found their rhythm. Maple's tags jingle as she trots to the back door. My rescue mutt, half golden retriever, half probably everything else, according to the shelter, has her own routine now. She knows Mrs. Chen next door will be out gardening, ready with treats and gentle conversation. Just a minute, girl. I checked the security app out of habit. The system's still active, but I've scaled back the notifications. No more midnight alerts, no more documenting every passing car. The cameras remain, silent sentinels rather than constant reminders. The workshop smell hits me as I enter the garage, sawdust and engine oil, mingled with fresh coffee. Grandfather's already here, setting up for our Sunday project. We're building a dining room table, big enough for the growing circle of people who actually want to be here. Morning, kiddo. He's arranging clamps with mathematical precision. Thought we'd finish the leg joints today. Perfect timing. I hand him his coffee, black, 2 sugars. Thomas and Rachel are bringing the kids over later. They can help sand. We work in comfortable silence, measuring twice, cutting once. Through the open garage door, I watch neighborhood children chase each other past my fence. Their parents used to hurry them along, back when the lawsuit made headlines. Now they wave, letting their kids stop to pet Maple through the slats. Saw your father yesterday, grandfather says suddenly, testing a joint's fit. At Henderson's Hardware. My hands stay steady on the wood. How'd that go? Age 10 years, I'd say. Both of them have. He adjusts his grip on the plane. Marlene was there too, kept looking at throw pillows like they held life's answers. I remember the designer pillows in their perfect house, arranged just so. The way Sabrina would rearrange them when stressed, while I tracked our family's spending in secret spreadsheets. Heard Sabrina's in Oregon now, I offer. Some artist collective. Running again. He shakes his head. Your aunt's not doing well either. Blood pressure's through the roof, according to the gossips at church. The wood grain beneath my fingers tells a clearer story. Growth rings marking seasons of plenty and want, strength built through adversity. We shape it carefully, honoring its natural character while creating something new. Later, as autumn sun warms the backyard, friends gather for what's become our tradition, the Sunday potluck. Thomas's kids chase Maple while Rachel sets up lawn games. My coworker Sarah, who stood by me through the worst of the lawsuit, arranges flowers from her garden. Hard to believe it's been a year, she says, stepping back to admire her work. A year since I bought this house. The memories surface. Empty rooms echoing with possibility, then threat. Now every space holds purpose. My home office with its promotion-worthy projects, the workshop where grandfather teaches me patience, the garden where Mrs. Chen shares her wisdom about more than just plants. Grandfather rises, tapping his glass for attention. To this home, he says simply, and the woman who built it, not just with lumber and nails, but with courage and truth. The toast ripples through my chosen family, neighbors, friends, the cousins who chose connection over convenience. Even Maple barks her approval, tail wagging as children sneak her bits of hot dog. That evening, after the dishes are done and leftovers distributed, I join grandfather on the porch swing. Maple sprawls at our feet, worn out from playing referee to the kids' soccer game. You didn't just protect your house, he says quietly. You defended your worth. Through the windows, I can see the dining room table we're building, still unfinished but already promising. Like everything worthwhile, it takes time and attention to detail. Some prices are worth paying for peace, I reply. The stars emerge as night settles, casting gentle light on my transformed home. Inside, Sarah and Rachel are setting up board games, their laughter drifting through screen doors. Thomas helps his youngest with homework at my kitchen counter. Mrs. Chen's lights glow next door, her silhouette visible as she waters her evening primrose. My phone buzzes, a text from the young analyst I'm mentoring at work. She's leaving her financially abusive marriage, needs advice on building credit. You showed me it's possible, she writes. I think of that terrified woman who first walked into Judge Martinez's courtroom, clutching papers and desperate certainty. She's still here, that core of steel strengthened by fire. But now she's surrounded by people who recognize its worth, who add their own strength to the alloy. The security system chimes softly, all secure. But the sound no longer triggers anxiety. Instead, it reminds me of boundaries earned and kept, of peace protected and shared. Maple's head lifts at approaching footsteps, just the neighbor's teenager, coming to ask if she can walk her tomorrow. Same time as usual? She calls. We're working on her leash manners. Perfect, I answer. Another small thread in the tapestry of normal life, woven from trust and consistency. Grandfather squeezes my shoulder as he heads in to claim his favorite armchair, the one we refinished together, now permanently placed in my living room. His tools live in my garage now, his wisdom in my daily choices. Inside, the game night is getting competitive. Outside, crickets tune up for their evening symphony. And here on my porch, in this space between what was and what is, I breathe in the peace I've built. Some say family is who you're born to, but I've learned it's who you choose to become, and who chooses to witness that becoming with love and respect. Every laugh from my living room, every wave from a neighbor, every shared meal and project and quiet moment, these are the true measures of home. The stars wheel overhead, constant as truth, bright as possibility. Tomorrow will bring its own challenges. But tonight, in this house I earned and shared and filled with genuine connection, I am exactly where I need to be. What defines family after all? Is it blood and obligation? Or is it the people who celebrate your growth while respecting your boundaries? In my experience, it's the latter that builds the strongest foundations.